Our guest today is Dr. Bo Tewarie. Bo is a man he's an excellent individual, a man of many means, has been a politician and consultant with. Bo, give people a synopsis of of you and who you are.
Well, I've had a long career, mostly in um, education and in government, politics, parliament, etc.
Right,
So I've taught at secondary school. I've been a lecturer at the university. I used to be executive director of the Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business. I
yes,
eventually became principal of the University of the West Indies in Trinidad.
right,
And in my political career, I have served in the parliament for 15 years.
right,
I was a member of the opposition once for 5 years, and I was in government as a minister twice.
right,
Um, Once as planning and sustainable development, and the other one as trade and industry.
right,
So God has been good. I've spent a lot of life in public service.
yeah,
And people have been generous to me in terms of the way they engage me and so on. And I have been happy to serve. It's been
yes,
great.
yeah, yes. Well, I'm glad you can take time out and talk with us today. We have met years ago, and as I observe Trinidad and Tobago today in a changing state, having come a new elections, we have just had a recent visit of a high individual, the Prime Minister of India.
Yeah.
I thought it would be good to talk to someone who knows and who can give me a sense of where the country is heading and the significance of this visit. So can we start anywhere you so wish?
Well, I mean, Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago, in fact, the whole Caribbean, is in somewhat of a difficult situation given the uncertainty of the world.
Yes.
Today, I was listening to Bloomberg, and one of the reporters talking there just casually mentioned this phrase, which is the future of uncertainty. All right. And it just struck me because we have now taken uncertainty to be a permanent condition,
Right.
and we can now talk about its future.
Yes.
So I think in this, future of uncertainty, this present of uncertainty, I think Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean needs to kind of rethink its way. It needs to do some recalibration.
Right.
I think also it needs to do maybe some renavigation as well.
Yes, yeah.
So we have a situation, let's say, with the United States. The United States is a friendly country to us.
Right.
They have always been supportive and collaborative, by and large.
Right.
Um, and now, though, we are faced with certain problematic issues.
Yes.
So, for instance, they've slapped a 10%
Tariff.
tariff on
Yeah.
us. So I don't know if that is going to go up, if it's opening the door to negotiations,
Yeah.
or what those negotiations will mean, because it might be more than tariffs,
Yes.
because they slapped a 50% tariff on Brazil,
Yes.
and the United States has a trade surplus with Brazil. So how do you rationalize why you impose a tariff on a
Right.
country that is selling less to you than you are selling to them?
Right.
So, I mean, that is problematic. Recently, we've had good news from Canada. Canada, under young Trudeau, uh, basically renewed without our asking
Yes.
Caribbean for 10 years, and they deepened it and broadened it a little bit. So they have been good to Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Right.
And even that, we don't now have to apply for a visa to Canada anymore. All
Right.
we have to do is to send an email saying when we are flying,
Right.
and you go through. So Canada has been good. Um, we have we've had recent problems with the UK on visa issues.
Yes.
We don't have a problem now with the European countries on visa issues.
Mm-hmm.
And we have favorable trade agreements with both the UK and Europe.
Europe.
We have a favorable arrangement with the US on CBI. I am sure in any negotiations we might want to strengthen and deepen that. For instance, if we ask them, do what the Canadian did,
Right.
and make it better for us. I mean,
We
I
do.
think that's a good opening negotiation position for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in all of this too, there are some complexities. For instance, China is now in the mix.
Yeah.
China is heavily involved in the Caribbean and in the Western Hemisphere. And they have their Belt and Road Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
10 countries in the Caribbean have signed up to the Belt and Road Initiative.
Right.
So I don't know when the US comes to negotiate through the Trump administration,
Right.
whether they are going to put pressure on the Caribbean about the Belt and Road Initiative because of the geopolitics with China,
Right.
etc. So when the Indian Prime Minister came here,
Yes.
it was, I think, at a propitious moment because India is today the largest country in the world in population.
Right.
It has the youngest population of any country its size in the world.
Right.
It is doing well economically and projected to grow at a significant rate over the next decade. They are
Right.
doing well technology-wise. They are doing well in terms of AI and other sophisticated technologies. And they are doing well globally in terms of growth and development.
Right.
So this is a good chance for the Caribbean to go beyond Canada, beyond the United States, beyond Europe, beyond the UK, beyond China,
Yes.
and to perhaps do some things that could create the conditions in which we are less dependent on any single country in the world. The Prime Minister, the President of France
Mm-hmm.
came to Britain last week, I think, and spoke to the members of both houses of parliament. And one of the things that he talked about was the reduction of dependence of Europe on both the United States and China. So I think that by spreading ourselves out and engaging more countries in trade, investment, technology, development issues, I think we have a better chance because we are small countries,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Grenada
Yes.
has 100,000 people. Trinidad and Tobago has 1.4 million.
Right.
Jamaica has about 2.4 million.
Right.
And that's the biggest one. And most of the other countries have in the thousands.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we can do certain things to make ourselves less dependent, more self-sufficient, and better off in terms of exports and tourism.
Right. 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 It certainly lays out a nice foundation for us for advancement. Now,
Yes.
yeah. Locally now, with our new election, we've had a problem of crime and so forth. Um, how do you see all of that? How do you see the new government playing with coping with all these aspects that they faced when they got in?
Well, the problems remain. I mean, the government has been in power for two months since the election,
Yeah.
and they have had to do a mid-year review based on the budget of the last government.
Right.
And in that sense, they have increased the deficit because they want money for certain things that they want to spend on.
Yes.
And they have the budget coming up in October. That is the time when we are likely to see if there are going to be any shifts in policy.
Right. Right.
But the problems from the past remain. The crime situation is very bad.
Yes. Yeah.
And although we have a new commissioner of police, we have a new minister of national security, we now have a minister of national security and one in charge basically homeland
Homeland
security,
security, right? Yeah.
right? So we are yet to see the results. I'm sure they're working on things, but
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon people are going to say,
To see.
well,
Yeah.
you is crime coming down? Are the murders coming down? The only
Right.
measure is whether
Right.
those things are coming down.
Right.
The second thing is the economic situation. We have a revenue problem from reduced production of gas, as you know.
Right. Right.
And the Minister of Energy has been talking about increased production in some areas. These are small production increases, if
Right.
in fact they materialize.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's been talking about the first gas from Manatee, which is not due until about 2017, 2018. So we
Uh-huh.
still have some time before that happens.
Right. Right.
And meanwhile, we are going to be continuing with deficit budgets.
Right.
So the
Right.
question is, can we continue to spend at the same level
Right.
that we were spending before
Yeah.
when you have less money to spend?
Right.
And then the third big question is, how do you change the structure of the economy and your dependence on energy income by increasing your exports, your investment, and your development in the non-energy sectors?
Mm-hmm.
And that means you produce products to export more, and you have to bring tourists to your country to bring in
Right.
tourism dollars,
Yeah.
and you have to invite and bring in investment that will be export oriented. So not only do they bring their investment, but they bring their markets with them.
Right.
They are not dependent on the Trinidad and Tobago or the Caribbean market.
Right.
So
Right.
those are some of the things, and those are hard issues,
Yes.
and they cannot be solved in a day. But I think by the time the budget rolls around, people are going to be wanting to see
Some
whether
kind.
the government has any idea
Yeah.
of how it is going to achieve these things.
Right. 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 Right.
How are you going to reduce your expenditure? How are you going to increase your revenue and reduce the deficit? Um, where are you going to um, diversify in terms of investment and exports outside of energy?
Yeah.
And what are you doing in energy that will make a temporary difference? And then finally, what are you doing with the crime, which is a burden on everybody?
Right. 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 Now, do you see the foreign policy shifting, or will it continue to maintain the same stance as before? Of course,
I think,
new
yeah, go ahead.
no, of course, new representatives will have to be appointed, as as normally does with every new government. Ambassadors
Yes.
change and that kind of thing.
Yes. The I, Well, I mean, as I was explaining before, when we were talking about the trade thing,
Yeah.
you're dealing with a very, very different environment. And
Okay.
in foreign policy too, we are dealing with a different environment.
Right. Right. Right.
All right. I mean, there are many issues having to do with the hemisphere and having to do with CARICOM.
Right.
For instance, um, the deputy to Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of the United States,
Uh-huh.
recently spoke to the OAS,
Yes.
and he reprimanded them for not um, having the OAS demand the election results and the poll sheets based on the Venezuelan elections of 2024,
Right.
so
Right.
that everybody can transparently see who won the election. Because, as
Right.
you know, the opposition is claiming that they won the
They want,
election,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
and the government, of course, is claiming that they won the election. The election commission pronounced on the night of election around midnight, and the tally sheets from the opposition contradict what the results, official
Actually,
results say.
right, right.
So he reprimanded them on that. So it means that Venezuela is going to be an issue, I think, for all the countries in the Americas.
Right.
Because the United States looks like it is entirely opposed to Maduro
Yeah.
on the basis of his dictatorial tendencies, the huge migration. I don't know if you are aware of this, but the Venezuelan migration is the second largest migration from any country in the world. The biggest one
Yes.
was in Syria,
Right.
and this was the second largest one. And so Venezuela is going to be an issue. And the representative talking to the OAS also talked about Haiti, because basically he said that Haiti has been taken over by a gangster
Gangs.
regime,
Yes.
and that the OAS is not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And one of the ironies of this is that Haiti is a CARICOM country.
Country. Right.
You know, so I don't know if in discussions with CARICOM that is going to come up.
Right.
All right. And the US government has also said things about Cuba and the fact that we take doctors from Cuba to work in our system and stuff like that. So I don't know if those issues are going to come up. And there are other problematic issues in the hemisphere for the United States. For instance, Nicaragua is not now a member of the OAS.
Right.
Venezuela doesn't attend. The last time they had this summit of the Americas, a number of countries were not invited
Right.
by the United States. You know, so there are problems in the hemisphere which I think the Caribbean need to contend with and engage the United States on.
Right.
And I think that is going to force them to kind of, or force us, I should say, to maybe think through our positions carefully and figure out how we are going to deal with these things. So I think it is possible that the foreign policy situation is going to require some kind of rethinking and tweaking.
Yeah.
And how we relate to the United States, how we relate to China, how we relate to all the countries of Latin America and the Western Hemisphere, and how we relate to the rest of the world. I think that is going to be an issue that we are going to have to kind of work out. I think we're in a new ball game here.
Yes.
You know, and I think that I think rather than saying that we know, we should say basically that we are willing to listen, watch, and carefully navigate.
Exactly. All right. Mr. Bhoendradatt, thank you so much, man. This was an enlightening discussion, and I hope we can continue it at another time. And, other issues that prevail and impact us in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. All right?
Yes, I enjoyed the interview very much, and thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
I've been speaking to Mr. Tewarie, who is a past intellectual, a past politician, and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. This is Von Martin. Caribbeana continues.